Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, October 12th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. The Pirate Traders live stream. Okay, so I wanted to start zoomed out today a little bit on the daily, just as a reminder that to me, this looks more like a pattern that is selling off necessarily than like a pattern that has found support and is bouncing higher. The only argument that I can make, because I always want to be open to any possibility from the market's perspective, is that if, we bounced off the 100 daily moving average yesterday, and then overnight we dipped below it, but it got pulled back above it once again. So we're finding support above that 100 daily simple moving average. So that's sort of the only one argument I could make for like, okay, maybe we do bounce higher today because we bounced off that 100. That being said, if we look back here, historically, that 100 has not acted as the greatest of support. We've passed up and down through it many times. Also, the 20 moving average is still making its way down to that 50. And if they cross, that would be another bearish signal. So to me, this still feels like the market needs a larger pullback here. But if we did find support and continue higher this morning, I would be okay with it on the argument of the 100 daily. However, it seems more likely to me that this has further selling ahead. So taking a look at the profile, we're going to open inside the previous day's range, which means we should expect some chop this morning. So the overnight inventory, although it should look like it should be net short since most of it was down here below the opening price for the overnight closing price for us yesterday. Actually, I see this as being net long. I see this as being slightly net long. Not very much, but a little bit. I think any counter auction we're going to get will be to the downside. So the auction to pay attention to the upside would be testing this node of volume just above us here around the 70 level. Let me just zoom in a bit. A bit too much, particularly on the repair of this weak L period high. So if the market trades up into here, and particularly if it gets up there and repairs that, how does the market react to this? Does it pull back down and then start to build support in here? Or does it push up into it and then fail and pull back down below? That will be an important level in figuring out what direction the market wants to move today. If the market wants to move higher, it will have to get through this node of volume and then come back down and find support in there. So that would be where I'd be looking for a long trade. If it pushes up into here and it finds resistance and it can't get through there, that is a potential short trade as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I could go short at the open purely as a potential counter auction play and then monitor for continuation lower from there. But if not, the short play would be getting below this node just below yesterday's low. Yesterday's low was a poor low because it came right down to a previous balancing area, or no, a previous base of single prints. So that was an exact reference, making yesterday's low poor. So the first thing I'd be looking for on the way down is, do we repair that poor low and then immediately start to pull back up into yesterday's range? That would be bullish. Or do we repair that poor low, come back up, and then find resistance in here around yesterday's low? Although with the node of volume just below it from the overnight, that resistance may happen down here. So we may push below here, come back up, find the resistance here. Okay. Either way, that's a short play, and finding support is a long play. So essentially the levels to watch this morning is going to be this node of volume right around 43.68, and then this area where the poor low is right around 43.49. In between there, expect chop. Good morning, Arcalion. Good to see you. Ronald, good morning to you. David back with us. Good to see you. Rainier is here. Welcome. Vincent is back. Good morning to you. Bob is here. Good morning. Speedboat is with us. Good morning to you. Nicholas is here. Good morning. Mangala. Good to see you. Ah, the spike. Thank you, Cotton Dog. Yeah, so we are inside the spike, which is sort of the... when it's a spike down, it's a little tiny bit bearish if you open above the spike. If you open inside the spike, it's sort of neutral to bearish. And if you open below the spike, it's very extremely bearish. So this is the sort of, it's still bearish, but it's not crazy bearish area. Okay, so there's your counter auction to the overnight inventory, right? Like I said, it got a little bit too long here in the second part of the overnight. So this was the pull down to that. And now we're looking for, does the market find support down here? Does it repair the poor low and then start to trade higher? Or does it repair the poor low, continue lower, come back up and find resistance? David V, good morning to you. Jitten, we did open the spike. Cotton Dog, yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but when I went to mark this low yesterday, it was already marked with a previous reference. I think it was like a base of single prints up from a week or two ago. Jose, good morning to you. Amir, good to see you. Welcome. All right, well, that came out of nowhere. They got their counter auction and they instantly bought it up. So now the next potential resistance to the upside is going to be this node of volume above us here. It starts at about 67, goes up to about 72. So if the market can work its way through that, it should come back down and find support in there. That would be viable for continuation higher. Chop City tonight. All right, a lot of chop in here. Good morning, John. Good to see you. Good morning, Alexander in the house. Miles is here. Good to see you. Jay is back with us. Good morning. Two Manifs. Good morning to you. Cotton Dog. Anyone remember Romper Room? I do not. Sab. Hello from France. Good to see you, brother. Welcome. River Rock is long at 58. I mean, you're getting in there right in the middle of the chop. If it's a quick scalp, obviously no problem. Take your profits and run, baby. But until it gets above this node above us, I'm not certain we're going to move much higher. There should be some resistance in there. Miles, identifying the high probability of chop has saved my account on these mornings. Thanks, Charles. My pleasure. David V. Charles, I'm just curious, before you used Market Profile, were you using technical analysis? And if so, do you think it still benefits you today? Yeah, I tried every technical analysis under the sun, David V. I tried, regular candlesticks, Hakanashi candlesticks. I tried, like Bollinger Bands and VWAP and, just every different strategy you could think of. Lots of MACD stuff, MACD and RSI and divergences and, all of those types of plays. And here's the answer that I have for you. I think I could have been a profitable trader with any of those things. I think the reason I never was because I kept trying something new for like a month or two. And when I wasn't instantly making profits with it, I would just quit and move on to something else. The reason I got so good at reading the market profile was just because I made the commitment that I was going to keep, like, I was like, I don't care if it takes me years. Like, I'm going to keep watching this shit all day, every day until I master it. Like, I was just absolutely dead set that I was going to learn to read the market using this tool. And so I just kept at it until I did it long enough that I became a master. And, well, air quotes. Don't take that statement too seriously. But you know what I mean. Like, I became comfortable with the fact that it gives me an edge on the market. So now that I look back, I'm like, oh, fuck, if I would have just put in the same amount of effort with VWAP or Bollinger Bands or any of those other things, I would have been just as good at reading those like candlestick formations or whatever. I would have been just as good at that as I am at market profile. It was just a matter of I gave up on those too quick. But every trading thing that exists out there exists for a reason. Somebody somewhere made money using that technical tool. And so that's why other people are willing to try it, which is why it exists and it's out there. So I believe it all works, but you just have to become a master at whatever you use. You have to become so good at it that you recognize nuances that other people don't pick up on, because that's where the real value is in the nuanced little differences that you can notice that others don't. Rainier, is margin requirements for futures going to ever come back down? That's on a brokerage by brokerage basis. But I can tell you with my brokerage, AMP, they're at their lowest right now. John, did I ever try without technicals? No, I mean, technicals were always part of what I was looking at. Um, but no, I've never traded purely off of fundamentals except for cryptocurrencies. The very first trading I ever did was like back in 2017 was trading altcoins. And that was purely based on how cool the logo was, how snappy the website was. I was like, yeah. I just look at the pictures of the people on the staff and be like, they look smart. I'm going to buy this. That was the only fundamental trading I ever did. And it was very profitable during the bubble. Not so much once it popped. Then Daddy had to learn the real skills. Had to learn that TA, baby. Jitten, did we open in the spike? Yes, we did. We are in the spike as we speak. Fundamental. All right, looks like they're heading for that poor low. Give me that poor low, gonna repair it. But then what happens, right? Do buyers step in down here? Look where they stepped in on the overnight. Do they step in that same area once again? If not, we're looking at further downside continuation. Okay, so there's the repair of the poor low left behind from yesterday. They love to repair those poor lows. So now we're looking at this node of volume from overnight. Does this act as support? If not, if the market continues lower or the market pushes back up and then finds resistance around yesterday's low, either scenario is bearish for downside continuation. I would only get bullish if we push back up into this node of volume above us. Okay, so first push higher found resistance, which is bearish. Oh, we're going downtown. That happened very quickly. I would have thought the market would have spent some more time in there. But nope. Instantly failed. And the selling begins. Now, this is a liquidation break that we're seeing here, meaning it's panic selling. So the way that we monitor liquidation breaks is we look at the place where it started, which was right at yesterday's low. And we ask ourselves, if it's a true liquidation break, it should trade all the way back up to there. But the scenario where it wouldn't trade all the way back up to that level is if new sellers started to pile on somewhere in here. Now, the volume's very thin because it's only the first 15 minutes of the day. So we've already got some pink candles. Usually that can be a signal, seeing the pink candles. But we'll just keep an eye on the ticks and see, are the sellers piling on down here? If they are, we're looking for further downside continuation. If not, then we should rotate back up to yesterday's low. Okay. Could be buyers stepping in here. They're pushing back above the 0 line. Does seem to be buyers stepping in here, looking to push back up. Got some low volume nodes in need of a backfill right in here, with potential resistance in the halfback just above. All right, sellers starting to pile on. They're like right on the 0 line, so it's hard to tell. But if they can push it back below the 0 line, that will be sellers adding here. All right, so there's the rotation back up to where the market broke. So that proves it was just a liquidation break and not necessarily new money selling, piling on top. We can also see that in the ticks. Still got these levels that need backfilling here at 43.50.50. And then we look for resistance. All right, and not only am I back to neutral here, if they're able to push through this node of resistance, I'm bullish on the market. That was a pretty wild move it just made, but it had a liquidation break that found support, and then when it traded back up, it passed right through the first potential resistance, and it's now pushing right through the next resistance. And look at the ticks. Just literally a minute and a half ago, they were trending down and sitting barely above the zero line, and now they've all taken off like a rocket ship. So somebody big just stepped in here. Let's see if they can keep the momentum moving up. So same as this morning, what I need to see to get long here is I need to see the market get above this node of volume and then come back down and find support in it. Then I go long for further upside continuation. Yeah, Rainier, whatever brokerage you're with. Oh, you're with TD Ameritrade? Yeah, 15,000 is crazy. Come on over to AMP. I don't have any connection to them or whatever. It's not like an official recommendation, but like, yeah. You only need $400. Brian, that's how you lose your money in one shot, 400 margin and a $500 account. Yeah, definitely don't do that. You need more than 100 margin or the market will move against you in just like a single point. Can you imagine entering like one trade, it goes 1 point against you, and then you get a margin call and lose your whole account? Oh man, that would be a bummer. Yeah, suffice to say, if you're only trading with $500, you need to use a paper account and keep adding to your savings before you start trading with real money. Uh, Hitting daggers. Donkey's answered your question there, but it's AMP futures. Hitting dingers once again. It's AMP, AMP, AMP futures. Wow, what a wild ride. Charles, you said we were opening in the previous day's range. Isn't this just chop? What's so wild about this? This is not chop. This is something different happening here. Once the market traded below yesterday's low, they should have gotten continuation lower. But the fact that they pushed all the way back up and then found resistance up in this node, now we push back down. And the second we got back into that support, that 33.44 level, boom, pushed right back up. There's some trickery happening here. I think there's some algorithms at work. Trying to whipsaw some positions right around that key low. So at this point, as I've been saying all morning, getting above this node of volume over here, coming back in and finding support would be buyable for continuation higher. I will now treat this node down here exactly the same way, the opposite direction. If the market pushes below here, comes back up and finds resistance, it's a short for continuation lower, but I'm not going to mess with it in the middle. Too much chop. Black Cat, hello to you. Welcome. That 100 daily, everybody thinks that's the battle. Could be. Are we sitting right on top of it? Yeah, we are. So you could treat this node that I'm looking at down here at 44-ish, 33, 44, 43, 44. You could look at that as exactly the same as that 100 daily in terms of you push below it, come back up, find resistance there, you look for continuation lower. And so that could be what's happening right now, is we pushed below it and now we're getting the resistance at it on the way back up. These are some very difficult to read internals here. Not given a clear signal. Okay, I'm back to bearish here. Switching positions multiple times today. Pretty rare for me this early in the morning. But getting back below that node, I'm now looking for it to act as resistance on the way back up. SKUBOL, hello, welcome. Black Cat, but if they do not step above yesterday's late spike, we have a chance to go down to low of 4-day balance. Yeah, I mean, if they can't get back up above that scout, the base of that spike down, which is right here, so basically call it like the opening price. If they can't get back above the opening price today, the selling should continue. The trend to the downside should continue. So the area that you're talking about is these lows down here around the 4270s area. And I don't know if we can get there today, but yes, that would be in play for sure if the market continues to trend lower. Man, they're making this so hard to read because they're just passing up and down through the zero line on the ticks. They're not really trending them either direction. So it's hard to see. Are sellers taking over here, or is it buyers holding up the market? Tricky moment. Tricky. Rob Farley, what is the current POC? The current POC is 43.52. But not really, doesn't really matter yet. We don't know if we have a rotational market or a trending market just yet. So the POC is not important at this moment. C. Marshall, good morning to you. Philip, welcome. Donkey feels like one of those murder bot all day situations. It certainly has so far. That's true. Charles, what is your threshold to change the banner to bearish? Is one time framing lower on the 30-minute period enough? No, I mean, bearish just means I feel like the market is going to go down. So that's just, there's a million different things that could make me feel that way. If just in the moment I feel like the highest probability is that the market will go lower, I put up the bearish banner. But if the market one time frames lower into the C period, then I switch to the trending lower banner that looks like this. And the difference between trending lower and feeling bearish is trending lower is market generated information. That's not my opinion. It's what the market is telling you it wants to do. Whereas when I just say feeling bearish, that's just me giving you my opinion, which I'm changing as we speak. Because look at these freaking ticks, second time today. They got below yesterday's low, which should have brought in more sellers, but yet the ticks pushed back up above the zero line, just like they did the last time. So there you go. I'm so sorry, guys, to do that to you twice in one morning, but back to neutral again. So same as before, we're back into this node I've been mentioning all morning. Can we get above it? Pull back down and find support? That's what would get me long. Otherwise, I assume more chop. Yes, you all did just witness that. The market just spiked all the way up to positive 700 on the ticks and then right back down. That is definitely an algorithm just whipsawing people at this low. So anyway, back to bearish once again. I'm going to wait this time for the confirmation of resistance when we pull back up rather than front run it like I did the last couple times. All right, well, this should be where the market finds resistance, and it's not. It's pulling back up above the zero line again. So more chop. They are playing games with our hearts this morning. N asks, do you think market profile will stick around for years to come? Yeah, I assume so. I don't want it to go anywhere. I love it. Nick, good morning to you. Jonathan, must be a range or rotational day. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced of that just yet. I think this market's trying to move lower, and that what's happening now is not buyers stepping in to stop that from happening, but instead algorithms trying to squeeze some money out of some short-term traders before they take it lower. The funkiness of the internals is really what's giving it away. When the internals are this bizarre, you know it's algorithms at play. So it could be that they're trying to get the market to position itself short in here so they can turn around and take it higher and just trend higher all day. Or it could be that they're just trying to squeeze people out with all the whipsawing before they take it lower. But I think they want to take it somewhere. I know people hate when I get conspiracy theory-esque like that. I apologize. This just doesn't feel like normal buyers and sellers. C. Marshall, when you can tell it's the algorithms trading, is that an indication to stay away? Not necessarily, but just to know it can move very quickly and with a lot of volatility. Normally, you wouldn't push this far up and down, over and over like that. You would push down, come up a little bit, find resistance, push lower, come up a little bit. But this whole just boom, 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 you have to accept that that's the way it's going to trade if it's algorithms doing it. And the pace, the tempo of it, the way it just instantly pushes up and then instantly pushes down. So you just have to accept that risk. If you think the market's going lower, layer in your bids and let the volatility push it up and fill and give you better entries. Don't let yourself get whipsawed by going in, getting super short right here, and then the market does one of these jumps up, and then you're like freaking out and you have to get squeezed out of your trade. You know, just know what environment you're trading in is the point. Is this finally real resistance? Is the market finally going to give up on this location? It's starting to feel like it. Mangala, thank you for the reminder. Please smash the like button. 128 people watching, only 44 likes. That means most of you'd hate me. You guys don't like me. You think I'm a bad man. FRM, what's the NQ doing? It looks like it's pretty much just moving in sync with the ES, but let's take a look. Okay, NQ is one time framing lower, which is slightly more bearish than the ES. Yeah, otherwise it's kind of just moving in sync. Thank God, we love you. I was just kidding. I didn't actually think people didn't like me because they don't push the like button. Jonathan, great question. Do I have some sort of membership? I do. Oh, and it's a good reminder. I need to put that up on screen. So yeah, in 2 minutes, I'll be leaving this live stream and heading over to a private stream, which is only for members of the Brigade. And that Brigade membership only costs $10 a month. So you ask yourself, is this something I should spend $10 on? And then you say, well, I've been listening for the last hour. Has he said anything that helped me? Anything that made me $10 or helped me to not lose $10? If so, listening to him all day, every day might be helpful. I'm going to go ahead and spend that $10. ANH, you need a profile pic with a skimpy outfit to get 100 likes. That's true. Although I feel like I might get 100 dislikes if I tried that. Jitten says ES rotational. Yeah, I mean, it's not officially rotational. That's the thing. The only signal that gives us the official rotation is the cessation of one time framing. An inside bar, so we can see now that the B period is inside the A period, just doesn't give us any signal. It's just no decision's been made yet. So we look for how the market breaks out from that bar, from the B period bar. If it breaks out to the downside, more likely continuation that way, and upside more likely that way. But this is not yet a signal for rotation. Although it's fair to say the internals are rotational. That is for sure. J Trader, less than 1 ES tick. That's true. $10, less than a tick. It's a tick plus your fees. So there you go. All right, guys, and with that, I will bid you all farewell and switch on over to that private stream. Like I said, if you're not a member, just give a click to that little link in the description and just ponder over the idea for a moment. Do I want to join a community? Do I want to hear the opinions of other traders? To be able to ask advice in the live chat? Do I want to instantly become luckier and just win more often? Just things to think about. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you here tomorrow morning.